it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Good morning, everybody, or good evening, or wherever you are when you find me. Hope everybody's doing good. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about semen retention, abstinence from lust, celibacy, and what happens when a man embarks on such a quest in this crazy, debaucherous, fallen world that we live in. So here's one thing I'm starting to fall into here that I really like, and it's kind of happening naturally because my discernment is increasing. So one of the main, effects of cultivating your life force energy and of, furthermore being obedient to God in not just action, but in thought. I think you can take this to levels of this, and it's the physical, mental, spiritual, and, this practice that we do, this cultivation practice really affects all of those areas. And in my experience, the way I would explain it is it's by sort of renouncing my engagement in like bodily pleasure, it naturally sort of puts me more into a mental space where I have more autonomy, control, because I'm not being driven by the cravings in my body, right? So if you fast from food, you can accomplish a really similar effect. This is a form of fasting, and fasting is extremely beneficial spiritually, always, and mentally, because it helps you gain control over your mind, which helps you gain control over your body. And if that's reversed, we're in trouble. The body can't be controlling the mind. That's not good. And even worse so is when the body-mind, matrix, mechanism, whatever that relationship is overpowering the spirit to the point where you don't even really have conscious awareness of your spiritual nature. And that's so many people walking around here are in that state where they're just oblivious to their spiritual nature, to their higher nature, and they're just being driven by a series of firings in the brain, neural pathways, cravings, desires of the flesh, basically. So we are escaping that prison by doing this. And what happens naturally is that your discernment is going to increase because you have all of that available mental bandwidth now that you were using for other things. We don't really realize as men how much energy we are losing in the pursuits of sexual satisfaction. And I'm having a really amazing, mind-blowing experience with this, because I was so sure before that, a man just needs that release. That's just something a man needs to do. And it's unnatural not to have that. And what I'm finding, is that that's just not the case at all. And actually, I think that I had it backwards. I think that doing that on a regular basis outside of the context of a committed marriage, with the goal of procreation, is just not natural. And we're sort of going against the natural order of things when we act that way. And so there are consequences. There are also benefits, right? When you rebel against the natural order of things, you get that tends to include some sort of like immediate gratification that costs you big time in the long run. So this is wisdom speaking. This is the wisdom that I only have through experience, basically, and through the grace of God, allowing me to have the experience in the first place and the subsequent wisdom that comes with it. So I know that there is no real satisfaction in sex, actually, that it's an illusion. it creates the illusion of satisfaction temporarily, but in this, I'm saying outside of the context of a committed marriage, that's different. This is outside of that. I'm not married. I'm not in it. I don't have anybody in my life right now, and so I have no reason to really be engaging in sexual activity until that's the case. So a lot of energy freed up, and I didn't realize how much energy I was losing not doing what I'm doing now. And so now that I have all this energy, it's being utilized to increase my powers of discernment. So it's easier for me to tell who's who and what's what, basically. It's easier for me to read people's energy. I also have a better time reading my own energy and sort of like feeling where I'm at really, and noticing when something's off. And so it's easier to make corrections, and it's easier to stay really happy and healthy this way. But really important is the discernment about other people. And so that's why most of us that do this will end up in a period of solitude, probably at some point, probably early on in the process. And it's like a calibration. I think God really is in charge of this. And when you set out on this quest, I think God sees that, and he will arrange a situation for you to be in solitude a little bit more, so that you can kind of recalibrate, and so he can also work on you, because you're entering into this relationship with God here. I'm not having relationships with the flesh as much, and so I'm having that creates space for a relationship with God. So one of the really important things that I'm discovering here through this new level of discernment is that it's really, really crucial who I will allow myself to exchange energy with. So we don't need to be like paranoid about this. I think some people kind of get a little like extreme with it, and I'm trying to avoid any extremes here. So it's like I have no problem interacting with just whoever, throughout the day, random people, just small interactions. Hey, how's it going? Thanks. Here you go. You buy something at the counter, whatever. But like the more in-depth interactions that you have, relationships with people, friendships, even if they're somewhat casual, we got to be really conscious about how those are affecting us and who those people really are, where they're at, and with no judgment, really, just a sense of like, is this serving me? And you'll find as you start to pay attention to these things more, that like a lot of the people that you thought were your friends might not really be your friends, and you're going to discover who your real friends are, and you're going to make new friends. You're going to start to be attracted to different types of people. And so for me, what I'm realizing here is this, like, what I really need in my life is more masculine energy, actually. And I've been, like more friendships with men, more male bonding. And that is something I've kind of robbed myself of by chasing women so much and getting so overwhelmed with that whole experience that I start to abandon my friends. But it is what it is. It's all a process. So now I'm like, all right, it's time for me to really be discerning about who are the people that God put in my life. Who are the people that I'm really like riding with on this journey, that they're really like, they're not just a part of my now, they're a part of my future. And it feels correct. It feels like they're people that are going to, basically your relationship with them is going to make you better, simply put. And your relationship with them should make them better too. That's really important too, is that, because there is this sort of like reciprocal sort of cause and effect thing in reality, where like you do get out what you put in. And so being a person that is conscious of the effect they're having on other people, and being really conscientious about having a positive effect on people, which is entirely dependent on where you're at, your energy, the energy that you are holding, is the primary thing that's going to affect people. So your energy is everything, you guys. And that, so a lot of people have it backwards. They think they can act, that most people act in the world, and they think they can talk and walk and say certain things. And, but energy doesn't lie. I can lie with my mouth. I can lie with my body language, even if I'm really good at acting, but I can't lie with my energy, especially to somebody that is awake. So that's what it is. I'm about to go do some grounding and in the park in the sun, and because I love it. I love life. I love life right now. I feel like a little kid. It's just the best. So shout out Seb Conscious, Spirit War Martin. Love you guys. I'm gonna keep on riding. Let's do it.